And we're live. You're listening to Let's Talk, the SQPN community podcast. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and today I'm joined by Mike Denz. Happy Easter, Mike.
Happy Easter, Dom.
So it is the octave of Easter. We are celebrating every day this week, and we feast like it's Easter Sunday, right?
Yes, every day is a solemnity.
Yes, and then by the end of this week, you'll have to roll me out of the house like a barrel because if I feast every day.
Yeah.
No, seriously, folks, you can catch Let's Talk Live every day this week at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. And then we'll put it in the Let's Talk podcast feed as an audio podcast, and then we'll post it to YouTube as our SQPN YouTube channel as a video. And just as a reminder, if you haven't checked it out, we had a nice Easter message from our SQPN chaplain, Father Corey Stika, that we put in of all of our podcast feeds, and it was a really nice message he had. It was really good. Check it out if you haven't had a chance to listen to it. It's really nice. So, Mike, how was your Triduum and Easter? What did you do this year? Since it was all different this year for all of us, what was your Triduum and Easter like?
Yeah, it was very different, obviously, for everyone. It was nice for the Triduum because this was all live streamed masses that we watched. We are blessed that our the parish I work for here in Corning, New York, All Saints, does live stream masses at 5 o'clock on Saturdays for during this time of the pandemic. So, but we had been watching recordings of that up until this weekend when it's the Triduum, so everything's kind of set. You're used to Holy Thursday and Good Friday services all being at the certain times, so we were able to do those live. And so there was something about knowing that we live only a few blocks away from the church.
Right.
So knowing that, okay, it's going on right now and we're doing this and we have to be ready at this time. We can't just start mass whenever we want. That made it a little different, a little special. And of course, those are special liturgies too. The Holy Thursday, there was no washing of the feet.
Yep.
But still, it was still the Mass of the Lord's Supper, and the Good Friday services are always special. And we did the Easter Vigil. I know seeing some the pictures that you were posting on Facebook that you guys got ready to, and we made a deal out of it. Okay, we've been kind of lazy recently, doing the pajama mass, but we're gonna get dressed up, and we had an altar and everything all ready for the mass, and kind of watched it get dark in our house as the sun was going down and the Easter Vigil went on, and they did all the readings. As the first time since Steubenville that I've been in the Easter Vigil where all the readings were done.
That's a lot.
yeah, that's a lot of readings, but it was nice. It was nice because I like that because there's a nice little journey. And a story that goes along when they do all the readings that I enjoy listening to. So so it was nice. So we did that, and then I think we're going to talk a little bit about food.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to get into that yet, but yeah,
well, let me tell you a little bit.
Services were nice. Yeah, but what about you?
Yeah, so what we did we watched mostly the live stream from the Holy Cross Cathedral in Boston with Cardinal Sean, which was beautiful, of course. They had a small subset of the choir there, and the organist and music director Richard Clark did a fantastic job. I love how they do a combination of both the choral music, so the stuff ordinary people won't sing, but then they also do responses and choruses that we can sing along to as well. So there's a combination of that. And then Cardinal Sean did things in both Spanish and English, which was nice, a nice combination. He's fluent in Spanish, English, Portuguese, Italian.
Wow.
Of course, he's got all those languages, and even some of the Latin prayers and responses. So beautiful masses. I love the Holy Cross Cathedral, so gorgeous. We did catch some of our local parish, some of their. They did some live streams. We haven't been able to get a live. We have a 3-parish collaborative, and the live streams have generally been coming from one of the other parishes, which is fine. I mean, we've been kind of hopping around and doing different masses on Sundays. But we were able to catch some of our parish's live stream, which was really nice. But to see our pastor and Father Michael Adabote from Nigeria, he's fantastic. We love him. And on Sunday, he organized an Easter parade of cars through the city from one parish between the three parishes, and
nice.
ending in our parish parking lot where he did a benediction and a singing of the Tantum Ergo as everyone in their cars, sang along with him. It just we couldn't do it because of the timing of dinner and everything, but it would have been beautiful, and we saw the pictures in the paper. It was awesome. So
when did he do this on Sunday? Or?
On Sunday, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sunday afternoon. So it looks like some of our listeners, people participating on the in the chat room, they have sharing what they did. John Scriva, who's on his wife's Facebook account, Rebecca, he writes that we watched our local parish live stream for the first time, which had poor audio, unfortunately. He said his wife had to work at the hospital all day, so God bless her, John, and watch over her. We're grateful for her service. And then Mike Kuipers, hello, Mike. He says he watched the Mass from home, and right now he's watching The Greatest Story Ever Told. Very excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is a great choice. We'll be talking about some stuff to watch later. And then, I wanted to mention one other thing. A friend of mine who lives in China. She's American, but she and her husband work in China. And she was talking about how difficult it is. Like it reminded me how privileged we are that we have these live streams that we can watch, and how difficult it is. Like even in China, where they have the technology, but it's restricted, it's locked down. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing to how they have to. It's more difficult. They can celebrate their faith, but it's more difficult. And in places that are poor, they don't even have that. So we have to keep in mind the privilege that we have to live in when and where we do.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's scary what we've been going through. It's in a certain sense and different, and you have to adjust. But we at least in my house, we've hardly been suffering at all.
Right.
It's been kind of a prolonged house vacation in a way. Not anything that's been a real hardship.
Yeah.
In any that I could say.
Speaking of hardships, how was dinner yesterday? I'm sure that wasn't much of a hardship.
My wife really outdid herself. She's been enjoying actually having the time to really prepare dinners, which having a job, she usually doesn't have time to do, unless it's the weekend, to really get into it. And she really outdid herself for Easter. She peeled 5 pounds of potatoes to make mashed potatoes. She just had the regular ham that was kind of the pre-sliced thing, but she also made a Polish dish with dumplings for the first time, making her own dough and dropping little things in the boiling water, the dumplings, and then frying those up with some seasonings and frying up some sliced cabbage and onions with a great seasoning that went on top of the dumplings when you put it all together. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
And there, and some corn, and we had some sticky buns for dessert. So it was just absolutely delicious. I know she took some pictures of it, but I don't have them. After I put my plate together, she goes, "That looks so good," and she took a picture of it. So
yes, that's what we do these days. We take pictures of our meal before we eat.
Yeah, and we didn't get dressed up for dinner, so we didn't take pictures of ourselves. It was just the food.
Yeah, we didn't get all dressed up for dinner. I mean, I'm when I'm cooking, I'm making a mess. So, but my wife and I do the cooking, and so for us, we had we had a bit of an eclectic dinner. But my wife had picked up a small rack of lamb at the store last week, and that was the special thing that we had. And we weren't sure whether the kids would want it, but although several of the kids, they did enjoy it, because rack of lamb is less gamey, less strong. It's not as strong as like leg of lamb is. So they did like that. So I did some grilling. So I grilled the rack of lamb, and then I made like a red pepper relish that went with it. That was really good. And then we made like a negamaki, which is a Japanese steak and scallion roll. So you kind of it's flank steak, and you kind of roll the scallions up in it, and then grill it with a sauce, like a soy-based sauce, as a marinade. Oh my gosh, it was really good. So
yeah, I saw the picture on Facebook. It looked really good.
It was awesome. And then I grilled some eggplant. So we have an eggplant dish that
Okay.
we make that's sort of Middle Eastern in inspiration, like Persian almost. And it's we mix it with like it's garlic and oil. So you cook it on the grill, and you slice you make like a diamond pattern in the eggplant, and put oil and garlic in there, and the garlic crisps and the oil just soaks in, and then we mix it
Oh,
once it's done with this. Usually it's a mint sauce. Didn't have any mint, so we made what was it, cilantro and honey and a chili paste, which gives it some spice. Oh, it was God,
oh,
so good, so
yeah. You're
really.
making me hungry. That sounds great because I have the image of the picture I saw. Now you're
Yes.
describing it's like, oh yeah. I haven't had. I don't. I remember my mom on rare occasions making the rack of lamb with mint
Hmm.
jelly,
Yeah.
and doing that. But yeah, it is good.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think I've. In fact, I'm not sure when the last time I've had rack and lamb. I've had to in ages. So usually I make a leg of lamb on Easter, but they didn't have any at the store when
Uh
Melanie
huh.
went. So we ended up with the rack, and that worked out really well. It was really good. And we asparagus and the potatoes. You mentioned the potatoes. We did. She made them with like chicken drippings that we. So let me give you a hint. We make chicken thighs a lot for dinner. Like she'll buy the chicken thighs, and we roast them on a rack in the oven, and all the juices underneath, we collect them at the end, and I
Uh huh.
save them. That's like gold. That's chicken gold. Okay, and so we put the potatoes with the chicken drippings and lemon juice and garlic, and roasted them. Oh wow, they were like
Oh,
amazing. So
wow.
really, it was one of our best Easter dinners.
Now you said you grilled. Was it outside?
Yeah, yeah. The weather was pretty
Did
good.
you
It
have?
was about 60, sunny.
Okay,
So
I was wondering because it was the same thing here in Corning.
yeah,
It was it wasn't real sunny. It was kind of overcast, but it was a beautiful day.
yeah,
No rain, and yeah, in the mid 60s.
yeah.
So we actually after dinner, which we ate late, we ate like 7:30 or something like
Oh
that,
wow, yeah.
and so by the time we were done, it was dark out, and we went outside and sat in our porch for the first time since last summer. So it
Oh,
was nice.
cool, nice. Yeah, we've got our patio, which is now covered in. The kids had confetti eggs, which is apparently a Texas thing, or Mexican, really originally. I had never heard of it, and so they were eggshells filled with confetti, and they were throwing them at each other, and I got in the middle of one of them somehow. So there's confetti everywhere, which is fun. But yeah. So if folks, there's some comments in the chat. If you want to hear more about our cooking here, Melanie and I do our cooking. You listen to our podcast, Raising the Bets. We talk about our cooking
Uh,
every episode. So you can get more of that and more details on what we made for Easter on this week's Raising the Bets. That'll be out later this week. Mike, I just want to kind of move on to talking about. We only got a few minutes left, but I do have to do the T-shirt of the day, and this one is my the last Super Bowl champions shirt for the Patriots for Super Bowl. What was that 53? 50? Yeah, I think it's
yeah, it's
53.
hard to remember for you guys. Which one was this?
I know it's like it's 53, 54, 50. Well,
Oh my
the
gosh.
I'm wearing it today because this will probably be the last Patriots Super Bowl jersey I own for a while. Given things, it's very sad. This has been a sad time for me. I'm in mourning now that Tom Brady is in Tampa. So we'll see. We'll see. I trust Bill Belichick, but gosh, it's tough. So I'm wearing this in mourning. So
I have a T-shirt my daughter got me once. Father Darth Vader
yes,
figure.
father
So
figure.
it's father figure. It's a very comfortable T-shirt.
Yes,
I like it, and it's also pretty cool. So
yeah, I got one that's like that. It's got Darth Vader and it says "number one dad." I think
yeah, yeah, I've seen those too. Yeah.
it's. so, Mike, well, you have a recommendation for us, something to watch that you were telling me about before. What is it that you wanted to mention to folks?
Yeah, it's a series that I'm sure a lot of the people watching have heard of. Maybe some haven't. Called The Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
It is independently funded series about Jesus that is the first time they ever made a television show. Basically, several episodes, not a mini series, not a movie, but a
Right.
television show about Christ. and it almost seems kind of like, oh, how do you do that, and is it going to be cheesy, is it, what's it like, and so there are people who are kind of skeptical, but they have a great director, producer putting it together. I know his first name is Dallas. I can't remember his last name right now.
Hmm.
And there's a panel of theologians that help them put it together. One of them is a Catholic priest. There's, I think, an evangelical and another Christian on the panel and stuff. But the real thing about this is the acting and the actual production. It's very authentic looking. It's very well done. There's maybe one or two actors that you recognize, but for the most part, these are unknowns, and unless you're super into actors and know people from everywhere, and it's just really good. I guess it's kind of contemporary, and at first it was a little off-putting, but then I realized what they were doing. I'll just mention this one part. Their speech, it's in English, obviously, but it's not. They're not trying to sound like they're from 2,000 years ago, or using some sort of lofty language. They actually just basically talk 21st century American English. They don't use too much slang or anything, but they want to make the people feel real.
Yeah.
So they're not always talking in some sort of lofty biblical like terms. They're just kind of I mean, there's this one time when I think it's the last episode is the woman at the well for this season. They've only done one season, 8 episodes, and the apostles are expecting to go up to Galilee, or down to Jerusalem from Galilee, the normal way, which is going around Samaria. And then Jesus is like, no, we're going through. And they're like, what? And they start asking these questions. And he goes, listen, if we're going to have a question and answer session every time I do something like this, we're just going to just take too long, and like question and answer session. That's, not kind of more of a modern phrase. But you get it, like, Jesus is like, listen, guys,
If you got to question every decision. Yeah.
Jesus is played by a very. I really enjoy how he puts Jesus together. He's funny. He's enjoyable, but he can be serious when needs to be. And it's done by a great actor who's a devout Catholic.
Nice.
I was watching him last night. He was live streaming Liturgy of the Hours. And praying and explaining what he was praying next and stuff, and it was just like, wow, this is really cool. It's almost like Jesus is playing the Liturgy of the Hours.
I think I saw him having an interaction with Scott Hahn on social media. Like, he was excited that Scott Hahn was watching, and then Scott Hahn said, well, you're doing such a great job, we're watching it too. So it's kind of funny.
yeah, he was the first kind of mainstream, not that there aren't others that I had heard of, like that mainstream Catholic celeb, theologian that had said, oh, this is really good. Because you kind of like, you want someone to say that, like, okay, I'm right. It's pretty good. So, I really recommend it. Now,
awesome.
the ways you can watch it, there's an app.
Yep.
If you just look up The Chosen on any one of your app stores, you can download the app, and they're for free. They have this system where they pay it forward. So people actually purchased episodes. I've heard of people purchasing 10, 25, 100 or more episodes at a time for others to watch.
Oh, cool.
So that people that really can't afford it can just watch for free. And it also is helping them fund season 2.
Awesome.
So it was a multi-million-dollar thing that they put together to make season 1, and it was one of the largest. It was the largest. I don't know what you call it. Viewer funded, independently funded. They didn't have a big backer. They just had the people who knew of what was going on fund it, and they raised millions of dollars, which was really a sign from the Holy Spirit that this was something that they were supposed to do, because it's unheard of without any sort of real preparation or getting out there in the normal way of doing things and making television shows or a movie.
Great.
That they raise this money. So
it sounds good.
The app, and it's also they put it on YouTube for the week before Holy Week. It has a lot of pitches. It's kind of like a telethon before and after, which can be pretty good. I mean, the after ones usually have interviews with the cast. but on YouTube you can look it up and watch it.
Okay.
So
awesome.
those are the two options.
Great. I will put some links in the show notes once we get this online, and people can check it out there. And we'll hopefully you'll check it out. Let us know how you like it. I'm gonna have to watch it because I've heard so many good things about it from several people independently. So it sounds really good.
Looking forward to seeing what you think.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a moment to thank our patrons whose generous donations make it possible for us to create Let's Talk and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. We'd love to hear from you. You can contact us by visiting sqpn.com or the StarQuest Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, leaving comments there. You can send an email to letstalk@sqpn.com. Until next time, Mike Denz, thank you for joining me on Let's Talk.
You're welcome. He is risen.
He is risen indeed. And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk on StarQuest.